My name is Dan Ginsberg. I've been working for Valve on Vulkan since its inception. And since hosting the first Vulkan face-to-face meeting last year, we've been really pleased with the progress of the API, and we think it's the right way forward for powering the next generation of high-performance games. I wanted to tell you briefly about a little bit of work we're doing with Vulkan at Valve. Personally, I've been working on porting Valve's new engine called Source 2 to Vulkan. The engine has already shipped to customers with the release of Dota 2 Reborn. You can download it now off of Steam Beta. The Vulkan version isn't there yet, but we have seeded it to all of the desktop IHVs, and one thing that is very exciting is that they all have it running on their drivers. And to us, that's really a validation of a key design goal of Vulkan, which was by reducing the surface area of the API, drivers are much simpler and they've been coming up much faster, and we're just really happy with the progress of how all of the IHVs have drivers running. Intel is showing it running on their driver at their booth on the show floor if you're interested in seeing it. As Jens mentioned earlier, we're also very involved with Lunergy in creating an SDK. We think it's super important to have a world-class SDK to make Vulkan accessible to developers, and to that end, Lunergy's been doing great work on all of the tools that they talked about, which you've already heard about, so I will skip. The last thing I wanted to say is just give our view of why we think Vulkan is the future. Unless you're aggressive enough to be shipping a DX12 game this year, I would argue that there's really not much reason to ever create a DX12 backend for your game. And the reason for that is that Vulkan will cover you on Windows 10 on the same class of hardware and so much more from all of these other platforms and IHVs that we've heard from. Metal, it's a single platform, single vendor, and Vulkan, we're going to have support on not just Windows 10, but Windows 7, Windows 8. We're going to have it on Android, and all of the IHVs are making great progress on drivers. I think we're going to see super rapid adoption. And so, if you're developing a game for next generation APIs, I think it's clear that Vulkan is the best choice, and we're very pleased with the progress and the state of the API today. We think it's going to power the next generation of games for years to come. So thanks for having us.